Hi, and welcome back to my BookTube channel. I'm very happy to see you. And in today's video, I am doing a book tag, a BookTube tag that I found on this blog, the site, website. I will link it also in the description. I just think that it's fun to do these tags just to kind of let people get a little bit to know you and kind of share some of one's eccentricities because anyway, I love watching these type of book tags, and so I thought I would join in as well. So today's book tag is Old Books Tag. So this was created by a booktuber called Books and Pieces, and I will link their video below if I can find it. And I guess let's just get right to it. The first question in this tag is, have you ever bought a book that was made before you were born? That is the book itself, not just the text. And yes, I have several books that were made before I was born because I love to buy used books. I go to thrift stores and charity shops and flea markets, and if I find a book that I like, I will buy it. I don't have a lot of books because I have a very strict rule in regards to what type of books I buy. But I do have a few that were made before I was born, and this is one of them. So this is the poetic works of Shelley. So this is Percy Bysshe Shelley. I don't 100% know how you pronounce the middle word there, but this was actually published, this copy, in 1927 in Oxford. So yeah, it's really a very beautiful book, and I love the feeling and the smell of old books. There's just something so comforting and lovely about it. And Percy Shelley is, if not my favorite, then at least in the top 3 of my favorite romantic poets, or even in the top 3 of my all-time favorite poets. I love his poems. They are just I love the romantic period. It's just such a it's a period that was so kind of indulgent in their feelings and emotions, and yeah, it's just very beautiful. And he wrote some very beautiful poems for his wife, and that I love as well, Mary Shelley. So yeah, I'm very happy that I found this book. I found it in a charity shop here in Reykjavik in Iceland, and which is not a given that you find books in English. So like these type of books. So I'm very happy with having this copy. Question 2 is, which book on your shelves takes place in the oldest time period? I have 2 books that take place in the 10th century in the Icelandic sagas. But the one that I want to talk about is this one. This one is Egil's Saga. It's a story about Egil Skallagrímsson, and it was written in the 12th, I think the 12th or the 13th century, but it was first published in printed form in the late 18th century. And it's about Egil, who was like the first generation Icelander, and he was born in 910, and he was a fierce guy. If you know the song, let me have it here in English. If you know the song, My Mother Told Me, my mother told me someday I will buy, that song is quite famous now because I think it's in the Vikings, maybe some, anyway, it's a famous song and a lot of people seem to know it. It is based on rhyme or poem in this story where his mother, Egil's mother, said this to him when apparently he was 6 years old, that she could see that he was a promising Viking. So he said, he should, buy a boat, a ship, and go away with Vikings and stand on the bow and go to harbor and kill a lot of people and steal their treasure. That was his mother's message to him when he was 6 years old. But he was like, he was a troubled child. Apparently he killed his first man when he was 7 because he stole his, I think, did the man steal his horse or something? I don't know. I haven't read this book. It is on my list with my TBR to read in the next few years. I want to read more of the Icelandic sagas. But yeah, he was always, he was a very interesting character, and I think it's fun to have this book. Yeah, so it takes place in the 10th century. This copy that I have was published in 1945. I don't know, did you see that? I don't know, 1945. So it's, I just, again, the smell, I just love these old books. Question 3, have you got a book that was originally published in the same year that you were born? I do, although I am cheating just the tiniest bit because I don't technically own this book yet. It is in my parents' collection of all of the books by Halldór Kiljan Laxness, who is a famous Icelandic author, Nobel laureate, etc. But I might steal it and just keep it if I like it. So basically, I'm like my challenge is to try to read all of his books, and I would definitely then want to own the books that I like. And if I like this book, I might steal it or just not give it back and just pretend that it's been missing. But it is a memoir or something, yeah, basically a memoir, and it was published in 1975, which is the year I was born, and this was printed as well. This is not the second print or anything, this is just the original from 1975, and this is in excellent condition because I think maybe it's been read like twice in the last 48 years. But yeah, I have a book that was printed and published the year I was born. Question 4 is, what book on your shelves have you had for the longest time? Yeah, this is a children's book that I got. I don't remember how old I was when I got it. But it was published, well, no, it was published in 1971, so it was published before I was born. Yeah, it was actually gifted to my brother, but I decided that it was my book because I love this book. It's about Pési, who is this kind of a bird, and I mean, it is a children's book, obviously, and it's just one of the first books that I read, and it's, it was about the cat is chasing the bird, and I think that this book is one of the books that had the biggest impact on me, because I'm a huge animal lover, and here also the fox is trying to eat the bird, and like it's a very dramatic book about this poor little bird that everybody's trying to eat. I don't remember if it dies in the end, but it's very it ends very happily. I think I would have been devastated if he would have been eaten. But yeah, so I've had this book for probably 40 something years. Question 5. Which book have you had the longest but never read? So I don't have a lot of books. This is the only book that I've had for a long time, because over the years, I've been very brutal at decluttering books. And I have a very strong rule, simply because I just live in a very small apartment, that I can only keep books that I enjoy. So I have to, if I really enjoy it, I can keep a hard copy. But, and also if I'm maybe collecting something. So here above me, you can see where is it? I'm collecting this author here, so I have all of her books, even though some of them are, a little bit of a miss. And, and I have some classics here that I also am collecting. So, but in general, I only have books on my shelf that I've read and that I like. So this was a very difficult thing to find. What is the oldest book that I have, or which book have I had for the longest without reading? And I finally found this one. This is a biography of Jónas Hallgrímsson, who was a big poet, one of our most celebrated, beloved Icelandic poets. He's written, so many of his poems have been made into songs, and yeah, everybody knows Jónas Hallgrímsson. He is just the poet in a way. There are a few that are up there, but he's definitely, and he wrote such beautiful poems about Iceland and Icelandic nature, birds and people, and he was a really good poet. He would have been in the, he was born in 1816, and when did he die? Yeah, I don't remember, but he was a 19th century romantic, really, a romantic, but also very nationalistic in a way at the period where Iceland was fighting for independence. So he wrote definitely a lot of things about the uniqueness of the Icelandic nature and blah blah blah. He's very romantic, and it's actually quite beautiful. So this one I've had this book since around, it was published in 1999, this copy, and I think I've had it probably since then. I think I got it for Christmas from my brother, and I am going to read it before I die. I am slowly starting to read some of the biographies that I have. I'm currently reading one of them, and I have a few. So this is definitely something that I'm going to read before I die, or before I'm 70 or something. But I've had this for a very long time and I haven't read it, and it's such a shame, because I think it's a very interesting story about his life. Question 6 is, what is the oldest book that you have? So this is super exciting, because as I said, I love to go to flea markets and thrift stores and charity shops and look at old books. And even though I don't always buy all the books that I see and I would love to buy, I love to also just to go and browse and look and kind of imagine myself with a huge room in my house filled with books on every wall. and stacks on the floor and everything. Oh, wouldn't that be just the perfect thing? But I did find this book last year in the flea market, or in the charity shop, one of the charity shops here. As you can see, it's very well worn. And it is an Icelandic saga that takes place in the 10th century again. It's, see, Fljótsdæla saga, and it was published in 1896. This copy that I'm holding in my hand was published in 1896, and it is definitely, you can see that it's very old. But I haven't read this saga, so it's gonna be interesting, and you know, it's really worn, so I don't know if I would want to like read it, because I could ruin it completely. I might have to get, like, borrow a copy at the library to read, so that I don't ruin this book. But yeah, I think that is so exciting to have a book that was published and printed. The copy that I have has been in people's hands for 128 years. Like, can you imagine? Like, how many people have touched this book and read this book and enjoyed the story, and oh my god, I am just, that's something that I really like. Oh, there's another story there. There's another saga. Oh, so there's more than one. That's interesting. It doesn't say that. Cool. So there are several stories in here. Oh my goodness, there are more. Oh my goodness, it's a treasure. I'm finding a treasure. Oh, my precious. Oh. And then the last question for, this is always shaking. The last question for this tag is, which book do you have that was written the longest time ago? So not necessarily the copy, but just the book itself. And this is another charity shop find. This copy that I have was published in, oh, it doesn't say. That's strange. There's no 1996. It is the Book of the Dead. So it's Egypt, ancient Egypt. The hieroglyphic transcript and English translation of the Papyrus of Ani. I'm so fascinated with Egyptian culture. Look at that, those are the hieroglyphics and then the translation. So this is definitely like, I have no idea if this is of any interest, if this is too academic, like too specifically, like people who are studying ancient Egyptian history. But I saw it and I was like, this is a book I have to have. So I would definitely, I haven't read it properly, and but it would be nice to read, even if it's just the introduction, just to know kind of about this Papyrus of Ani, and just to kind of get acquainted with the complexities of the hieroglyphic like how they used to write in ancient Egypt. Yeah, so this is the book that I have that was written the longest time ago. I don't know when this was written, like some thousands of years, dating from 1420 BC. So it's like, what is that? 3,500 years ago that these were written. So that's pretty cool. So that was my old book tag, and as I said, I will remember to link in the description like where I found the tag and the creator of the tag and the questions, and hope you enjoyed, and if you do booktube, do consider doing the tag as well, because at least if you're interested in old books and used books and things like that. But I guess that's that for now. Thank you so much for watching, and tell me in the comments below what is the oldest book that you have. Bye bye!